Assalamu alaikum, namaste, hotep, shalom alaikum, peace. This is Tracy Lene Muhammad, and I wanted a few minutes of your very valuable and your very precious time this Monday morning, January 6, 2020. A new decade has begun, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling the high energy of just a new beginning. And of course, it is what you make of it, and just because the day change doesn't mean that everything in your life is miraculously went different, but it does mean if you keep your vibration high with this energy that's high, that you will achieve more things, because the higher the vibration, the higher the stuff. I'm going to give you an example. When we stay in the past items are on a low vibrational level. So when we're living in past energies where we're thinking about things that somebody did to us that hurt us and we stay there, we're vibrating very low. And there's not a lot in the past because we're in the present moment. So when we stay in the past in our minds, but time is moving on, we're missing out. It's like you're standing still and traffic is just moving ahead of you and you're standing in the same spot and everybody's getting ahead, or there are other people, of course, standing right with you, because lots of times we stay in pain in groups. We find people who feel just the way we feel and we just stay there feeding off of each other, dying with one another, instead of deciding, no, I don't want to vibrate here. It happened. It was the past. I do a lot of research, I like to call it, using social media, seeing where people's minds are and how I can help them elevate higher. Not because I think I'm so such a much, but because I have experienced some things in life and grown through them. And I believe that it is now my responsibility to show how I did it. Not to tell people that this is the way they have to do it, but to give some clues that, okay, well, this worked for me, perhaps it'll work for you. I don't believe that my way is the only way. One of the reasons why I had to leave organized religion is because my brain didn't function in a way that made me accept everything that any of them gave. I just thought differently. Not that I'm better, but I just thought differently. So for me, it was oftentimes in both Islam and Christianity difficult for me to stay out of what you call trouble with the people in the religion because of my thought process. So I decided in 2018 to shed myself of a religious title and to allow myself to be a path, not to be on one, but to be a path. And with that, I'm growing and studying and learning, and I've had many people come into my life that have been just such a blessing. One of the things I was looking at the Red Table Talk this morning is a post where somebody was saying, and I'm not sharing her business to you in a gossipy way because she's already shared it. When I do energy consults with people, I never share what we go through because that's their own personal space. But I'm looking at a common thread on social media, and that's relationship issues. And then we have people who say that they're relationship experts and can help you through. And I believe that many of them can. For me, the word expert is a no-no for me. I'm not saying for anybody else, because I believe for me, then my ego jumps up and says, well, yeah, I know it all. I don't need to learn anymore. I consider myself a relationship consultant and an energy consultant. I'm not saying that people should change their titles, but what works for Tracy is to not attach expert to it or master to it, because the more that I grow, the more that I know. So I do believe that there are levels of mastery, and people can call themselves masters and they're just growing higher and higher. And that I agree with. It's just not for me, because my soul is not on that journey to say that, because my personality, my ego would then take that, eat it up, and just be all over the place. But the woman was saying that she lost 20 pounds because her boyfriend dumped her, and she was just so devastated. And the first thing I noticed on the post is how kind people were being. And one woman said, well, first of all, you're not trash, so you're not dumped. And I like that, because you're not trash. Nobody is dumping you. They may be releasing you from their energy field. They may decide that they don't want to be with you anymore, but that doesn't make them dumping you. I decided to add my 2 cents, as I call it, and I don't think people are obligated to stay with us. Because you get married to somebody, it doesn't mean they have to be with you forever. That may have been what they thought when they got married, but life and circumstances and time may have changed that. They may have met somebody that was a better fit for them. It really is, in my honest observation, not fair to decide that because somebody is with you that they have to spend their entire life with you if you don't add to their happiness. People don't make people happy. Happy has to be already there, and then it's like you're an accessory. We're accessories to one another, and accessories can change. I know that may sound like, I don't know, well, the Bible says once you get married, you marry for life. But then you'll turn around and say, oh, but the loophole is if the person commits adultery, you can divorce them. So is it married for life, or is it that there can be something that comes along to change your mind or make you change? And if that's the case, then one decision made by one person to say, well, adultery doesn't work for me, I'm getting a divorce. For somebody else, it may be something else that just doesn't work for them and they want to get a divorce. I believe it's okay. I just don't subscribe to once you get married, that's it. You got to be miserable and unhappy and just stick with that person no matter what. I don't believe that. And I also don't believe that we change other people. We don't save other people. I believe that the only person I can save is myself. What people have done for me, though, is shown me the way they save themselves, and then I've decided to pick up those tools to save my own self. But it still was me doing it. That's just my personal belief. When I was reading her post, and some of the people were saying, oh, he did you a favor, he ain't worth you, you deserve better. And I'm thinking, what are they basing that on? Because he decided to end a relationship, all of a sudden he's a horrible person? I don't agree with that. Even when people decide, this is my theory, when people, whether it be the husband or the wife, the boyfriend or the girlfriend, decide to commit adultery or to step outside of the relationship, they really want to end the relationship, but they're cowards and they don't know how to end it. So they do something to make the other person have to take responsibility to end it. Most times the other person doesn't take the responsibility to end it, and then this dance starts of cheater and cheated on, and then you go into the woe is me, and it just is a vicious cycle. I don't think that because a person commits adultery or cheats on once, it means they're always going to do it. But what I believe is that person is broken already and couldn't find a different way to say, I don't want this relationship. And so they continue on that spiral. And the people who involve themselves with that person knowingly, they're broken as well. And that dance usually continues. And people just keep allowing people to drag them until their arms fall off and they're all bloody and bruised, and you decide you're not letting go, there's just nothing else to hold on to, and then people move on. I was also watching a post where this woman had been married for about 15 years, and her husband was a habitual adulterer, and they had lots of children, and she would go after the women and say, well, you knew he was married, but he knew he was married first. Well, eventually she said she got tired of it, and it was when he brought an outside child, and that was enough. She said that was it. It's one thing to cheat, another thing to bring a child. I couldn't understand her logic, because sex makes babies. And so if he's having sex with somebody, then he could bring a baby or a disease. But I'm not judging her. I'm saying that that was her threshold. But I believe that he wanted to end it long ago. He was a coward and couldn't just do it, because most people are so broken, they don't believe that they deserve love. So they then do things to make it known, I don't believe I deserve to be loved. How could you love me? And then oftentimes we decide, well, I'm going to love them out of the brokenness, but we're broken too. And when we learn to love ourselves and stand up for ourselves, then what happens is a shift happens. And then that's when people can come to the table and really decide what it is they want and what they're willing to put up with, and make their own marriage, not society's marriage, but make what works for the two of them. There are people who traditionally the husband stays at home while the woman goes out and works, and people, oh, that's not the way it's supposed to be. I don't know why people feel the need to decide how somebody else's life should be. Well, I do know why, because we don't want to deal with our own shit. And if I'm busy minding your garden, I'm not looking at the weeds in mine and realizing that I may have some stuff and work to do to get the weeds out of my garden. I am of the mindset that the more we allow our life to unfold and love ourselves and deal with the broken parts of us, people will come in our life that vibrate higher and higher. So where you meet a person, if everybody around you is sad, you're a sad person. You look at your circle and then you can see where you are. And I'm so blessed because I have an amazing circle. We're all working through the shit that was holding us down, and we're just ascending higher and higher and higher. And it feels good to know that I'm spiritually growing so much that the divine, whatever name you call, has decided that I deserve people in my life that share videos. One of my really close sister friends yesterday shared a Tony Robbins video with me, and I've watched it like 3 times. So I love that I have people in my life that encourage me and give me business ideas and stick by me and support me. And I do the same for them because we're vibrating up there. What I noticed is when I would live in the past, I would feel like everything was passing me by. And it was because I was stuck in unforgiveness. When I started to forgive, my circle started to change. And when my circle started to change, I started to feel more validated. And that will work for you as well. And there's some tools that you can take. I know it hurts. I know when a relationship ends, that is very painful. And part of it is because our ego is attached to the relationship. And how dare you do this to me? Nobody is ever doing anything to you. They are doing it to themselves. When somebody decides to step outside of the relationship and enter into another being, they are damaging their own life more than they're damaging yours, because now they have to live with that energy. That's something that, because usually when people step outside of relationships, it's not because it's a terrible relationship. It's because they're a coward and they don't love themselves. When you can be in a marriage and have a woman, because most times it's like the Beyonce factor, Jay-Z, messing around on Beyonce, or the Halle Berry factor, where they have these beautiful women that are wanting to do more in life. And of course, they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but they have a lot going for them. Then they go and find some little scrunch-a-munch on the street that doesn't really know her worth. And it's because they're broken and they want to feel powerful. And so they meet some little scrunch-a-munch that doesn't know who she is. And they, get into her life and so on and so on. But that's still about them. It's never about you. What somebody else does is not about you. It's about them. If you can live the 4 agreements where you recognize that you must be impeccable with your word. You must not take anything personal. You must not make any assumptions, and you must do your best at everything. When you live those 4 agreements, when people come into your life and they bring what I call fuckery, you will recognize it is not about you. And you have a choice. You can give them the tools to help them through that fuckery and stay while they do it, or you can walk on. Give them the tools and walk on. What I find is most people don't change if you stay, because they didn't lose anything. You're still there. So they keep doing what they're doing because you didn't leave them. They're not willing to do this. It's obvious that they don't love themselves. So what happens is what I've noticed, when women decide, I've had enough, or men, I've had enough, and they leave, that other partner starts to get it together, because it's the loss that makes them wake up to what they lost and to try to do the work. And they usually try to come back. Sometimes it works and they come back, and sometimes it doesn't. But when you stay with somebody, and I'm in no way saying leave, I'm saying understand that when somebody shows you who they are and you refuse to believe it, you're probably going to get dragged, because your ego is attached to their ego, and y'all just going to have this nice little dance that's going to make the electric slide look like a cakewalk, because you just won't let go. You can meditate. You can forgive yourself. You can go into your own soul and realize why you attracted this particular situation, because it's something you need to heal. I can help you do that. I do energy consults, and I also am a relationship consultant and meditation consultant. Can help you through meditation and yin yoga. Just give me a call. And yes, I do charge, because it is my gift, and we come to the planet with gifts, and gifts bring us rewards, and reward, in what we understand in this culture, is through money. Money is the means of exchange and energy. So of course I charge. I don't believe anybody should just give their gifts away for free all the time. So if you're wanting something from somebody, be willing to pay, because they've done the work, and now you're going to reward them for doing the work. And you do your work and people pay you as well. I just wanted to talk about that this Monday morning. On January 10th, there is a full moon, another opportunity to release. And if you want some help with that, some meditation sessions with that, give me a call. We can sit via either FaceTime if you have an iPhone or Zoom if you don't, and I can guide you through a 30-minute meditation where I allow you to go into the parts of your mind that maybe need things to release. I'm available for it, and just give me a call. We can talk about pricing, because I also know that people want change, but their wallet may not be at that space, and so I am available to help you with that and see what you can pay. My charge for a 30-minute session is $60 for the meditation, but if 60 is not what your wallet can handle, let's talk and see what your wallet can handle. Have an amazing day. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, hotep, shalom alaikum. Peace out to Brooklyn and everywhere else.